Hello, knockouts. Tanya TKO here, and I'm back. I'm back from Texas, and it was a great trip. Today is a lazy Sunday afternoon, and I'm trying to keep my energy up to make this video because there were a few things that were weighing very heavily on my heart that I wanted to discuss. And so I'm going to turn this into a 3-part video series so that I can keep the parts neatly and concisely in their own video so that we can talk about some very intricate things so that we can start working on some issues that we need to work on and hearing some things that, planting some seeds and hearing some things that we may need to grow in our minds, our bodies, and our spirits. This video is going to be a follow-up on the video I did before I left. The video where I was talking about the types of men that I wanted didn't want me, and I asked, your dream partner, what type of person would they want? And there were a lot of people who came out and they were upset by the video because they felt that I was telling people to change for another person. And then, I kind of just shrugged that off until a colleague of mine, Eric Dillard, came out and he made a comment about the right person coming along and accepting us for everything that we are and everything that we are not. So that's what this video is going to be about. But we also need to talk about in the next video I'm going to talk about liking your own company and some of the things that we women and we men do to be with other people instead of quote unquote by ourselves, instead of quote unquote with ourselves, because we don't want to be quote unquote alone. So I'm going to talk to you about that in a video, so look for that. And then we're also going to talk about, hey, if you're not growing, what are you doing here on earth? That's going to be a really short video because I just want to punctuate that message into people's minds. So let's talk today. Let's get right into this topic, this video right here, where we're going to talk about, should a person accept us as we are? Oh, goodness. All right. Now, when my colleague Eric Dillard made the comment, he said that when we live in complete truth, that the right person will come along and will accept us for everything that we are and everything that we're not. But I think that if we are living in complete truth, then we realize that there are things that we need to change about ourselves. If we are living in complete truth, then we know that we came to this earth to work on certain things. And in that video, I am not to, first of all, the person that I'm talking about is imaginary. We're talking about your dream person. And we're going to go step by step, because when I do my phone coaching and when I meet people and I talk with people and I offer counsel to people, I realize that, and I am in such a state of peace right now when it comes to other people. There's so many things that I don't take personally because I kind of feel like an archaeologist, sort of. Because when you think about people, right, when you think about a person that you meet, especially people that we're dating, every single person that we come into contact with, what you're seeing is a hieroglyphic, oh goodness, of their past. This person's a hieroglyph. This person is exuding characteristics that are a result of things that happened decades before, years before, scores before, sometimes even centuries before, some things implanted into our DNA, and some things that we've come back here to work on. So when we meet with another person and we see another person exhibiting certain characteristics, this is a sign. It's like a movie. It's like a movie screen to me. And I feel like the things that they are exuding are things that existed long before I came into contact with them. And the fact that they are in my life is an indication that this is some sort of reflection of something that is happening inside of me that is attracting this person here. Let's go step by step, because that was one of my later points. Okay. Should a person accept you as you are? Yes, of course. But please do realize that like attracts like. So when you bring a person into your life to accept you as you are, you're going to be bringing in a reflection of a person as you are. You know, I wasn't planning on talking about this. This is not in my notes, but you know, it's so easy because you know what? I just came back from a hostel. And while I was in the hostel, there were two young ladies who were very nice, very congenial. I couldn't find anything wrong with them at all. They were so sweet, French girls, very nice. We hung out and everything. While we were hanging out, they were expressing some sentiments about one of our roommates some things that they didn't like about this person. Right. And so as I sat there listening to what it was that they were saying they didn't like about this person, I was sitting there thinking, you know, because this person whom they had these issues with, this person wasn't bothering me. Because I realized what it is that I'm seeing is a result of things that happened long before this person came into this situation, long before this person came into my life. And so I was thinking about these girls and how cute and how nice they were. But then there's a part of me that realized that, you know, even these girls have problems too. I might not be able to see what the problems are right now because we don't know each other well enough, but give it time. Give it time. And I think that this is an issue that a lot of us struggle with. We struggle with when we, two flip sides of it. When we meet a person, we struggle with the fact that this person appears perfect to us. And as we get to know them, there are little things that start to creep out that erode the facade of perfection. That's one side. But let's talk about the other side, the facade that we put on so that when we meet other people, we put our best face forward so that people will be like, oh, this person is so cute and this person is so wonderful and this person is so perfect. And perfect we are not. And in the imperfection is our perfection. But that's another story. But let's just talk about the humanness of each of us. Inside, you know, it's so easy to embrace the beautiful parts of ourselves so that when we meet other people, we want to embrace the beautiful parts of them too, negating the fact that every single human being walking this earth is human. And part of being human is coming into this school of life to work on some issues that we have, to enjoy this human experience and to deal with the shortcomings of being human while we work on our issues. You know, so many of us, especially in the new love movement, many of us want to, you know, ascend to the clouds with our minds and be one with this spiritual experience. But we all have to remember we are in human form, and there would be no reason for us to be in human form if it is not to enjoy this human experience too. Oh God, hear me. Hear me. There's nothing wrong with being human. So while it's so easy to embrace the beautiful parts of us, we have to remember to also embrace the ugly parts because those are parts of us too. Embrace that inner little stepchild that you try to keep locked in the attic, the anger issues and the gossiping and the violence and the self-hatred and all of that stuff. Turn your gaze on it. Turn your gaze on it. Because the longer you keep your back to it and the longer you stay in denial with the things inside of you that you may need to improve or the things inside of you that are less than God-like, the longer you turn your gaze away from it, the more power it has to manifest different things into your life so that you're like, why is this person in my life that's abusing me? And you don't realize that this person is abusing you because there's a part of you that you've turned your back to that hates yourself. And you're so busy trying to turn away from the part of you that hates you that you attract the person that this energy that has you turning so far away from this energy is pulling other people into your life to address that issue. Turn your gaze on it. Turn your gaze on it. It's okay. So that when, and even, you know, people look at me and I get these comments all the time. Oh, Tanya, you're so beautiful inside and out. I wish I were half the woman that you are. And I have to say, no, no. I'm human. I am human. And there are issues that I struggle with as well. And people like, oh, well, then when people find out that I'm human, they're like, oh, how dare you try to give these messages of love and you're not. I'm human. It's all a part of the human experience. The best that we can do is try. Remember, I said that we are a culmination of the actions that we do each day. So while I am human, yes, I will still struggle, but it's the culmination. My life is built up of the things that I exchange the days of my life for. What will those things be? Will those be good things? Will I exchange a day of my life in exchange for the good things that I can say, yes, I gave a day of my life for these things? So yes, I am human and there are things that I still need to work on. Yes. Too often we put people up on pedestals, and when we put people up on pedestals, we separate ourselves from reality. And we see the perfectness in them because we want people to see the perfectness in us, but we have to be accepting to the fact that there's some ugliness in every person. And yes, there's some ugliness inside of us. I was not planning on talking about that, but let's go on. Do I think that people should accept us as we are? Sure. But remember, like attracts like. Remember that. So it behooves you to make the changes necessary. Oh, let me go. Let's stick with the list. Let's stick with the list because I can talk and I can talk and I can talk. And people say, oh, Tanya, why are your videos so long? They're long because they're messages that need to get out that can't be given in just 2 minutes. Look what it's 12 minutes already. So let's talk. Let's talk. When I made that video, I did not make that video to say that we should date people who want us to change, or that we should date people who don't accept us for who we are and will criticize us and abuse us, etc. But even in that, you have to realize that when you accept a person into your life who is criticizing you, abusing you, emotionally or physically assaulting you, there's some part of you which feels that you deserve that. There's some part of you that attracts that into your life. So look, we can't look out at other people blaming them. We can't. And no need to look inside blaming yourself. Just turn your gaze on yourself. Look deep inside of yourself. Should people accept us as we are? Let's talk about it. Number one, there are people out there who are self-abusing. Number two, there are people out there who are abusing other people. There are people out there who, when they get angry, they hit their partner. There are people out there who, when they get angry, they verbally assault their partner. They degrade their partner. They curse their partner out. There are people out there who were victims of child sexual assault that they've never dealt with. So they got a part of them inside in the attic or in the basement that they're not addressing. They've never gotten counseling. They won't acknowledge it. And they have a whole heap. Remember I said the hieroglyphic. There are things, you can't hide it forever. There are things which show across our actions. And every single person, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. You know, I'm going to say this. I was not planning on talking about this, but let's talk about it anyway. Remember I did that video about the man who was whipping that girl, the 13-year-old girl in the street like she was some animal, worse than an animal, because most people agreed that if he were in the street whipping an animal like that, that they would be outraged. But he was whipping a human girl, a black young lady. And you know, I've learned that there are people out there who are non-sympathizers for the black female. A lot of people out there who feel that black people are more aggressive and frightening and that they need to be beat down and pummeled down. And there are a lot of people who use the Bible to justify this as well. That was not what I was planning on talking about, but this is what my point was. You know, I was beat as a child by my father. My mother didn't really beat me too much. My father beat me. And the way that manifested itself in my life is me living a life that is completely financially independent of others, so that nobody can tell me what to do. No one. So so people may be like, oh, Tanya, it's so great that you're a business owner. Tanya, it's so great that you save money. Tanya, it's so great that this, that, and the other. But these are telltale signs. These are the hieroglyphics of my past abuse. They are. So there are things that I need to work on myself, because having such a strong hold on money, seeing money as this entity which will, what's the word? I can't think of the word, but what's the word when you abscond the person from chains, when you save I can't think of the word, but uplift, save, I can't think of the word, but I see money as this entity that will always keep me safe. That's what I see. So this is why I work so hard. I work really hard so that I could have my own money, make my own decisions, have nobody, nobody, so that I could drop them off like a shriveled up fruit off a tree, that nobody will hang around me who I don't want around me, leeching off me. No, no. So there are things that I need to work on, so that when we look at a person, and you know what, each individual is going to be different. When we look at a person and we see the hieroglyphics of their life showing in the telltale signs of the things that they keep around them, we don't really know. For each person, it will be different. There's some people who were beat as children, and in turn, they turn around and start beating other people. That wasn't the way it manifested in my life. But what I'm saying is, we're human, and we all have issues that we need to address. We need to address, because I have very stringent, very strong opinions about money. I do. Money is freedom for me. Money is, I can't think of the word, not proliferation. I can't think of the word. I'm lost. So let me go to a different point. Let's go back to the list. I was talking about child sexual assault. There are some people who have been assaulted as children sexually. And there are different things that manifest itself in this person's life. Maybe issues with sex, maybe addictions to porn, maybe not wanting to have intercourse, maybe being afraid of intimacy, not being able to talk about any number of things. So the reason why I gave my example is because you never really know how different things will manifest in a person's life. And sometimes we see these things as, oh, these are amazing things, but then these things can be issues that this person may need to work on too. So, number 4, self-hatred. There's some people out there who are self-abusing. They hate themselves, so they abuse with food, sex, relationship. They find other people to beat them and curse them out and all that, because there are things inside their life that feels that is all right. There are things inside their life that feel that they deserve that, so they stay for that. There are people who are self-medicating with drugs, food, sex, using these things as an escape. There are people who are doing so many different things out there. There's some people who are unsure of their sexuality. It's masked, covert, or they are living a life contrary to their true sexuality, or their sexuality is wavering, and they themselves don't even know what it is that their sexuality truly is. There are people out there who are not honest with themselves, and so they cannot be honest with others. Some people have mommy issues, daddy issues, financial issues, weight issues. So when we talk about find somebody who accepts you as you are, who it is that you are right now, let's talk about that. Do you want to task somebody? Do you want to task a person with the job of having to deal with the issues that you're not addressing, having these things that you could work on yourself, manifesting inside the relationship? And then also ask yourself the number 1 question of this video. What type of person would that be? I want that to just simmer over your being right now. What type of person would that be? What type of person is going to deal with you cursing them out? What type of person is going to deal with you striking them when you get angry? What type of person is going to deal with the fact that you have problems saving money? What type of person is going to deal with the fact that you have sexual issues? What type of person is going to deal with the fact that you are gorging, stuffing, and abusing yourself with food to the point that you are morbidly and nearly deathly obese? What type of person is going to accept that into their lives? And do you want that type of person? Do you? Is that the type of person that you want to attract into your life to deal with those issues and be like, oh, baby, it's okay that you have no job. Oh, baby, it's okay that you don't really know what your sexuality is. Oh, baby, it's okay that you like to be roughed up and slapped up. It's okay that you have issues that you can't have intercourse unless there is X, Y, and Z involved. Sometimes some of that is some pain or some disrespect or somebody not really wanting it or whatever any number of things. What type of person would that be? So when I made that video talking about what type of person would your dream partner be attracted to, you have to analyze yourself and think what type of person it is that you want. Because let me ask you a question. Let's keep it real. A person who's running 5 marathons a day. I don't think anyone can run 5 marathons in one day. I've gone too far. The type of person who is a marathon Ironman trainer, I don't want to say vegetarian because that may not even be the best lifestyle for every person. But a person who is health conscious, exercising, living their life in naturality and healthfully. Would that person want a person who is morbidly obese? And if that person did, would a person who can't share in their interest or in their lifestyle? Maybe this person may have some issues themselves where they don't feel that, or where they don't feel that their partner should participate in certain things with them, or they feel that, or they may have you may be their proxy partner to hide their own self-hatred or missing sexuality or wavering sexuality or whatever. But you have to, please think, what type of person? What type of person? What type of person is going to accept a person who is a drug addict? And is that the type of person that's your dream person? Are you the type of person that your dream person would want to be with? Are you? That's the main question right there that I want you to answer. And look, there is nothing wrong with self-improvement. There's nothing wrong with self-improvement. There's nothing wrong with turning your gaze on you and realizing, you know what? I haven't dealt with some of these past issues. Let me deal with some of them. So that when I meet a partner, I can at least, listen, nobody's going to be perfect. We're going to be dating along the way, yes. Yes, but you're going to like attracts like. You're going to attract into your life where you are right now. And there's some things that you can work on by yourself. There's some things you can work on by yourself, honey. Some things you need to address. The past rapes, the molestation, this inability to keep or find a job, this inability to keep or find friendships or meaningful long-term relationships. There's some things you can address. So should a person accept you as you are right now? It depends. How much work have you done? What have you done to heal some of your past hurts? What have you done here on earth to get yourself to the next level? That was going to be my next video. I'm going to save that for the next video. What have you done? See, I don't think there's anything wrong with improvement. Not because anybody else said so, but because these are things that you want to work on. Turn your gaze on that ugly stepchild inside of you and see. Give it some love. Give it some love. While you're there starving it off from love, it begs and begs and begs for attention so that energetically it's drawing people to you to deal with it. Hug it and tell it that it's all right, that you accept it. That way you can deal with it. That's my whole video. If you've made it to the end of this video, please leave your comment below. Say the sentence, I will deal with my inner stepchild by, quote unquote, and let me know how you will begin to deal with this inner stepchild. Tanya TKO, I love you all very much. Come to my website, tanyatko.com. There you'll find my links for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and everything else. I love you all very much. And I would like your comments below. This is a very heartfelt video for me. Because while I don't want to say that there's anything, quote unquote, wrong with you, we are all imperfect in our perfectionistness. So what will you do to just kind of patch up some of the old hurts from before? What will you do? I want you to just work on some of those things. Not because you have some harpy in your life barreling commands down at you, but please open your mind, open your eyes. Realize, God, I really want you to realize like attracts like. If you learn anything from this video, realize like attracts like. I have so many people who come to me and I'm beleaguered. I'm beleaguered because I have people who come to me and they're like blaming their partner for quote unquote doing something to them. And they won't acknowledge that they like it. They won't acknowledge that there's a part of them on the inside of their person that relishes in that treatment. They won't acknowledge it. They won't acknowledge that there's something about that feels familiar to them. They won't acknowledge it. So they spend their time blaming other people outward instead of dealing with the ugly little stepchild inside of them who feels that noise is comforting, who feels that somebody, like things going too good for too long is suspicious. That part of them that feels that they don't deserve harmony. That part of them that feels like they don't deserve to have a man or woman who wants to be with them. So they relish. They relish in that friend zone, or they relish in being shunned, or they relish in that delicious feeling of torment when that person doesn't want them. They don't acknowledge that they secretly love it. That it feels juicy and it feels pungent and it feels like the triangle peg fitting in the triangle hole. There's something about it that feels like home. They won't acknowledge that there's something that reminds them of their youth. They won't acknowledge that they love it. That every time that this person curses them out, that they acknowledge a secret curse that they want to say to themselves. They don't acknowledge that they love it, that it feels comfortable, and it feels like home, and it feels like that old tattered coat that you put your arms into, and though it's old and holey and dirty, it feels comfortable because you've etched all the grooves into it, and it feels just right. They don't acknowledge that they love it. And I just want us to acknowledge that like attracts like. Look at the people that you're attracting into your life and see where the reflection lays. So many of us are in denial about what our partner is reflecting back to us. And if you don't see a reflection in this person, then leave. If there is nothing about this person that you recognize yourself in, leave. Leave. And if you don't leave, search. Search. And I'm going to make this last point before I go. You ever notice that each one of your friends seems to attract a different type of dysfunction into their lives, one that you've never had to deal with yourself? Or maybe you have, but then you realize, why is it that this person is always attracting this type of person into their life? And sometimes you can't even relate because you're like, oh, that would never come to me. That would never, not over here, it won't. But then you realize that the type of persons that the dysfunction that you attract into their lives, they never attract. What is it that is attracting these different things to these different people? Acknowledge that. Hug me. Oh, I love you all so, God. Whew, I love you all so very much. Go out there and love one another, but most importantly, love yourself. Listen to my videos, pass it around. Tanya TKO, and I'm out. Come to my website, TanyaTKO.com, and that's Tanya, that's right, with an O, TONYA.